Hello and welcome to another episode of Laker Connections, your home for all things Laker sports. I'm Aaron Valentino.
And I'm Brian Rudman.
It's now time for This Week in Laker Sports. Brian and I will recap what happened this week in Oswego State Athletics. Brian, let's start off with some men's hockey and whiteout weekend.
Absolutely. Let's start in the wheelhouse where fans were lining up all day for this matchup. Oswego State hosting Plattsburgh for whiteout, as always fans all hyped up prior to this one. Start off in the first period. Offensive zone face-off win for the Lakers. Anthony Passero is going to clean up the mess, puts that one away. Lakers up 1-0, getting those fans excited. And that would continue later in the period. Zizek to Carter Allen, that captain's connection. Lakers up 2-0. And now it's the defense's turn to go to work. Plattsburgh here trying to enter the zone with an odd man rush, trying to set things up, but they really just couldn't get things going. And this continued all night long. Just couldn't find the opportunities. And this would transition into the second period as well, as we'll see here. A missed shot that goes wide, and that's Max Novick and that Oswego State defense going to work down low, protecting the crease for David Richer. And man, did David Richer have himself a day. He had 25 saves, a perfect save percentage. You see one of them here. And then Oswego's going to help him out. Tyler Curry right here off the rebound, going to put it home, makes it 3-0 Oswego. After a scoreless third period, Oswego would win 3-0 in the final, their second shutout and whiteout in a row. The Lakers would then follow it up with an 8-1 win over the Potsdam Bears on Saturday night. Aaron, how were the Lakers able to dominate the way that they did this weekend?
Well, this was overall a fantastic weekend by
Absolutely.
the Lakers. I mean, the defense played extremely well. They only let in one goal the entire weekend. The goalies had a .978 save percentage, which is amazing. That's going to win you a lot of hockey games. Not to mention the offense. You know, they were fantastic this week, especially with the 8 goals against Potsdam. I mean, my goodness, that third period was amazing. Travis Broman, 4 points against Potsdam, SUNYAC Player of the Week.
Yeah, look, this was a great weekend overall. They outscored their opponents 11-1 on the weekend. And then they're spreading the wealth as well. There's only one skater on this Lakers team that hasn't recorded a point through 3 games, and that's Michael Gillespie, who was out the first game of the season. So this team is doing a phenomenal job thus far, getting that offensive going. Top offense in the nation right now in D3 hockey. They're doing a great job, and we'll see if they can continue it.
A successful whiteout weekend for the men's hockey team, but now moving to the women's hockey team, as after suffering 2 losses to rival Plattsburgh over the weekend, the Oswego State women's hockey team defeated Buffalo State in their home opener 6-2. Junior Amber Thomas tied the program record for points in a game with 5, while Aaron Stewart's 4 helpers tied the program's record for most assists in a game. So, Brian, what do we see from the Lakers in their first few conference games?
You know what? They're not playing that bad. You got to reset after Plattsburgh. You got to take into consideration they are one of the best teams in the nation in women's hockey right now. And it was a great job last night with the bounce back. Amber Thomas, like you said, 2 goals, 3 assists. She had herself a day. Did a great job. It was tied after the first period, so when this team really took over and started to roll, that's a great sign for Diane Dillon and the rest of that coaching staff that their team can take over games. Once again, Erin Stewart with her 4 goals, 4 assists, she's doing a great job facilitating for this team. This is really a great team win for this Lakers hockey squad.
Yeah, absolutely. And as far as the Plattsburgh game goes, I think that's just a matter of Plattsburgh being the number 1 team in the country. I mean, there's really no comparison. But let's look at this game against Buffalo here. You see they won 6-2, 53 shots. Compared to Buffalo's 28, they played some great defense. Only 6 penalty minutes compared to Buffalo's 12. This is a game overall that they were able to dominate and play really well. I mean, Thomas had herself a day, like you said, with 5 points. Aaron Stewart with 4 points of her own, 4 assists, excuse me. You know, they struggled last season scoring. One of the things that I like to see from this team is they're sharing the wealth. 5 or 6 Lakers, different Lakers have scored this season, and they've been able to spread the wealth and get a couple goals in. And I think, you know, overall, I think they're going to be able to win more games. I think the reason their record's 1-2 is because they played Plattsburgh the first 2 games of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. I like your point about spreading the wealth. They're doing a great job passing the puck around. Creates a lot of havoc for the defensive team. It's really creating opportunities for them. We're going to switch to the hardwood now as the Oswego State women's basketball team kicked off their 2019-2020 campaign on Tuesday with a tough 62-61 loss to the Hilbert College Hawks. The Lakers were led by Ramatule C. and Sydney Uri, who each contributed double-doubles in the effort. So what are the takeaways from the Lakers season opener?
Overall, I thought this was a very good game for the Lakers. You know, I thought they put up a good fight. You know, they only won 2 games last season, and to lose by 1 point to start the year to a team that made the NCAA tournament is definitely a good start. Now, obviously, you want to win that game, but it's an out-of-conference game, and I think they can brush this one off. And all that matters is really, you want to get conference wins. This is a tough one to lose, but I think it's a good start to start the year. The addition of Yuri, though, really fantastic. I'm really excited to see what we get out of her. She played last season at OCC, Onondaga Community College. She played great. 19 points, 10 rebounds on 51% shooting. She's going to be an amazing addition to this team. And C coming back, another great year. Another good game from her. She played very well last season. The highest points per game scorer on that team last year was at 10 points. It's Samantha Britton. C scored 20. And Yuri scored 15. You look at the game summary here. I mean, they played pretty well. Hilbert obviously played a little bit better. Oswego, great free throw percentage at 75%. But overall, I think this is just a matter of Hilbert, being a little bit better of a squad right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is an impressive game if you're the Lakers. Looking at the box score, they fell behind early. They did a great job in the second quarter, coming all the way back. And then they played a really good second half, kept it close, couldn't quite get it done in the fourth. But this is a great building block for this team. A tough Hilbert team that went to the NCAA tournament last year. And like you said, Lakers team that struggled last season. Great way to start the season, even though you didn't quite get the job done. Overall, a building block that they can go off of.
Oswego State Athletics having a pretty decent week so far. The hardwood in the Max Seal Gymnasium will be put to good use this weekend as the women's basketball team hosts their first game of the season. How will the team stack up against their competition? Find out on the other side of the break. This is Laker Connections on WTOP 10.
Welcome back to Laker Connections. It's now time to take a look at the week ahead. Aaron and I will break down the key upcoming matchups in Oswego State sports. Aaron, why don't you start us off with some basketball?
Absolutely. This weekend, the Oswego State women's basketball team will participate in the Max Seal Women's Basketball Tournament. The Lakers will tip off on Friday against UW Superior, with Clarkson and Morrisville also participating in the tournament. This game against UW Superior will be the home opener for the Lakers. So, Brian, what can we expect out of the Oswego State women's basketball team in their home opener?
Well, you start off in the first game against UW Superior. This is a winnable game for this team. UW Superior comes in 0-2. They're coming in getting out-rebounded by a lot. And these are winnable games, and that's the mindset you have to go into. And you mentioned her before we went to break, but Sydney Uri, she's been great for this Lakers team, and she's going to be a key for them, not only this weekend, but all season long. You can see here, 19.2 points per game back at OCC last year, 10.5 rebounds. That's going to be big. If you can rebound well, you control the pace of the game, you start to do what you want to do, you can keep the ball. We saw it with the men's team last year with Tyler Pierre. That's something that the women's team should try and emulate, really, is trying to be good on the boards, control the game, and then have a good shooting percentage, which we saw her also have up above 50%. That's really what you're looking for out of Sydney Uri and this entire Lakers squad.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a great chance for the Lakers to open up at home. They didn't win a single game at home last year, which is a little bit concerning, but they've made improvements to the team, like the addition of Uri, like you just said. One of their last 2 wins last season came against Clarkson. Now, they may not play Clarkson in this tournament, but they have a chance to, so that's got to be a boast of confidence for them. Honestly, I think the Lakers can, win some games this weekend, and if they put some points up on the board like they did against Hilbert, if Uri and C have those great games again, if we're just getting contributions from everyone on the team, I think it can be a successful weekend for the Lakers.
Yeah, look, a great opportunity for them to get into the win column at home and get their first home win in 2 years. Switching now to the men's side of things, as the Oswego State men's basketball team will travel to Elmira this weekend for the Elmira Tip-Off Tournament. The Lakers will kick things off with a matchup on Friday evening against the Ithaca College Bombers. Oswego will come into the season with high hopes following a trip to the Sweet 16 last season. So, Aaron, what can we expect out of the Lakers to open up the season?
Yeah, this is an exciting season for the Lakers. Coming off a great last season, 24 wins, a SUNYAC championship, a Sweet 16 appearance. They're bringing back a lot of people like Liam Sanborn, people like Brandon Gartland, Joel Sullivan. They're also bringing in someone, Colby Moultrie, from the University of Buffalo. As you know, Buffalo made March Madness last year, made the NCAA tournament, so that's going to be a huge addition for them. Overall, Ithaca's a pretty good team. They went 16-11 last year. They didn't make the tournament like the Lakers did. But, you have a reason to be confident. This is a very solid Lakers team. They're bringing back a lot of pieces. Coach Leone is back once again at the helm. It's going to be an exciting season, and I think this is a good way to start off for them.
Yeah, this is obviously a great year for them last year. I'm going to be interested to see how Coach Leone handles his depth, because by the end of the season last year, we really only saw him go 7, maybe 8 guys deep in a game. So I'm going to be interested to see, because they did lose Tyler Pierre and Quinn Carey, 2 big pieces for the team last year. I'm going to be interested to see how they adjust to that. Also, like you said, Liam Sanborn, he's going to have to be huge for this team. Junior season, he was great last year. He comes in, a lot of hype surrounding this team and him. We'll have to see how they execute down the stretch. They lost a big guy in Tyler Pierre after that great year last year. Obviously, SUNYAC championships, first in the SUNYAC in field goal percentage, like we can see there. 15-3 in conference, that's great. Went to the Sweet 16, like we mentioned. This is a team, they got high expectations coming into the season. We'll have to see, can they live up to them?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an exciting season. Can't wait for it to get underway. Switching now to hockey, as this weekend the Oswego State women's hockey team will look for their second conference win against the Cortland Red Dragons. The Red Dragons enter this matchup 4-1 with a 4-1 conference record, good for second place in the new HL, while the Lakers sit at 1-2 in new HL play and 6th in the conference. Brian, how did the Lakers build their momentum after their win against Buffalo State?
Well, look, we got to take a look at this game. This is going to be a tough test. Like you mentioned, Cortland 4-1, second in conference behind Plattsburgh. They're outscoring their opponents by 11 goals. Like I said, no easy task for the Lakers, but they got some momentum rolling. They scored a lot in the last game, and that's really what they need to do. They need to keep the momentum going, keep passing the puck around. We talked about it before we went to break earlier in the show. When you pass the puck around, it creates havoc for the defense, gets the goalie moving between the pipes, and maybe creates some opportunities and spaces to score. That's really what you're looking for from this team. You want to keep scoring. And honestly, you're at home. This is the first time on a weekend where you're going to, have that home crowd behind you, hopefully. Good opportunity for this Lakers squad to go out and get a win, but it won't be easy.
Yeah, they got to keep the momentum. They got to keep spreading the wealth. You look at the graphic here. New HL record 1-2, 4-1, but they're scoring 3 goals per game, which is pretty good. And against teams that aren't Plattsburgh, they're scoring 4.5 goals per game. This is a very good offense. And once again, the only reason I think the records are so different is because facing the #1 team in the country is a tough thing to do, and unfortunately, they lost both of those games.
Yeah, absolutely. Good opportunity for the Lakers to win this weekend. Now, looking forward to this weekend, the men's hockey team will face their toughest competition yet with 2 SUNYAC games that could quite literally flip the standings upside down. Will the Lakers come out victorious against Brockport and #2 ranked Geneseo? We'll break down the matchups after the break. Welcome back to Laker Connections. Following a successful whiteout weekend, the Lakers will look to keep their momentum rolling with 2 big SUNYAC wins in the SUNYAC. Starting out tomorrow night in the wheelhouse as the Oswego State Lakers will begin their weekend with a matchup against the Brockport Golden Eagles. Both teams come in with 3 SUNYAC wins and will look to solidify their position at the top of the conference with a win. So, Aaron, what do the Lakers have to do to get the job done tomorrow night?
I think they just got to keep this momentum going. Continue to spread the wealth around and score. This is definitely an exciting game. Brockport has the second most penalty minutes in the league with 65. So this is a chance for the Lakers to finally get that power play going that we've talked so much about. They still haven't scored a power play goal in the year. They're at 0% on power play success. I would also like to say that the Lakers have been, they got to be a little bit more disciplined in this one. Giving up 8 penalties to Potsdam is going to be different than giving up.
You can overcome it.
Yeah, it's going to be, different than giving up 8 penalties to Brockport, who got some votes in the poll this week to be ranked. But overall, I think if they continue to score, and you got to continue that great defense, Carson Vance and Carter Allen, they're going to have to be at the top of their game. They've been great all year. It's time for them to be even better. I expect great goalie play from David Richer.
Yeah, well, to me, you got to start with discipline. Like you said, you can get away with committing 8 penalties when you're playing against Potsdam, but Brockport's an entirely different story. They're one of the top 10 teams in power play percentage coming into this weekend. They've scored 8 out of their 13 goals on the power play. And, if Oswego keeps playing sloppy and they, get stuck in the sin bin, it won't go well for them. You look at this team, that's where it's got to start, and you got to correct it because, like I said, you can get away with it against Potsdam. You can get away with it against a team like Plattsburgh, who had a couple of all-freshman lines. When you're facing teams like Brockport and Geneseo, those top teams in the conference, you can't be down a man. It's going to come back to bite you.
Yeah, and play a full 60 minutes of hockey, too. That's something that's been a point of emphasis this season. But after facing Brockport on Friday, the Lakers will then travel to Geneseo for a rematch of last year's SUNYAC championship. In their series last season, Oswego went winless, going 0-2-1 on the season. Through the stakes are a little higher, though, as both Oswego and Geneseo are ranked in top 3 in the nation. Brian, what can we expect from this rematch of the SUNYAC championship?
Look, I expect this to be a great game. And at the end of the day, this is it. We all wait for whiteout every year. We all wait for that exciting Oswego-Plattsburgh rivalry. But at the end of the day, this is the top 2 teams in the conference right now. Coming into the year, last year they faced off in the SUNYAC final, like you mentioned. It was a 1-goal game in Geneseo. For Oswego, they're coming in trying to prove something. You know, they went 0-2-1 against this team last year. They want to get back at Geneseo because they lost. They couldn't find a way to get a W when it mattered most against this team. So there's no motivation needed coming into this matchup. But at the end of the day, you also got to stay composed. You can't let things get out of hand. Stay focused and stick to your game. This Oswego team, it scores at a crazy efficient rate. Like you see there, 5.67 goals per game. They're doing a great job on offense. They just got to keep that rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. And this Lakers team is scoring over 5 goals per game. That's 6 against Portland and 8 against Potsdam. Definitely helped that. But this is going to be an awesome hockey matchup. 2 of the top 3 teams in the country going at it in their first matchup of the year. They have to be insanely disciplined in this one. You cannot let the second best team in the country go a man up. Geneseo has the top power play in the SUNYAC at 37%, so they're going to want to be disciplined. They're going to have to keep that elite penalty kill going, and if this Oswego offense continues to perform, I think they got a good chance at winning this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Should be a really good hockey game in Geneseo. We'll have to see how it shakes out for the Lakers. We're going to take a quick break, but before we do that, let's bring in our moderator, Brandon Ladd, to give us a quick preview of tonight's Lakers showdown. Brandon, what are we in store for today?
Thanks, Brian. With the first full weekend of basketball season upon us, there's one question on everyone's mind. Is the men's basketball team receiving too much hype? That and more coming up after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Laker Connections on WTOP 10. I'm your moderator, Brandon Ladd, and it's time for Lakers Showdown. Is this finally the week Aaron gets a win?
Yes.
No,
I'm very
absolutely
confident.
not.
I'm very confident. This is my week to win. I feel it.
As a reminder for our viewers, I'll ask the guys 3 questions about Lakers sports. They'll have a minute 30 seconds to debate. Whoever has the better argument wins the point. Guys, are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, getting to the first question here. Through their first 3 games of the season, the Lakers have gone on the penalty kill 14 times, yet only given up 1 goal. That has given them a .929 penalty kill percentage, good for first in the SUNYAC and 12th in all of Division III. With that said, do you see the Lakers defense atop the SUNYAC at the end of the season?
Yes. This penalty kill is amazing. The defense in general is amazing, especially with that top line of Carter Allen and Carson Vance. They just look so focused out there when they're a man down. It's like it's drilled into their head almost every single practice. Guys like Carter Allen and Carson Vance, they're gonna, they've been great on the penalty kills so far this year. They're so quick and fast. They're able to get to everybody out there on the ice. They had a good penalty kill last year at 83%, and now it's even better with the addition of guys like Vance and everybody getting a year older and more experience. I think this is something that they continue. This is the 3rd best team in the country we're talking about, and maybe even better depending on if they can beat Geneseo this weekend. Why can't they have...
That's the key. Can they beat the good teams? They haven't played anyone with a good offense yet. They start off with Cortland, bottom of the conference.
Cortland got 3 goals against them.
Then Plattsburgh.
Potsdam
then you go to
tied
Plattsburgh.
Geneseo.
Okay, look, let's calm down with Potsdam comparing them to Geneseo. Plattsburgh has 2 forward lines, which is all freshmen coming into the wheelhouse for Whiteout. Not going to go well for the offense. We got to calm down. Look, yeah, they're going to be good. They have good defensive players. But at the end of the day, when you go on the penalty kill this much, it's eventually going to come back to bite you. And they haven't faced any high-scoring offenses yet. We're going to see that this week with Brockport and Geneseo. I just don't see it. I think they'll be good. But you got to look at the rest of the conference. Fredonia looks pretty good right now. Plattsburgh returns a good defense.
They were last year.
Plattsburgh was tops in the nation.
And everybody
Plattsburgh was tops in the nation last year. How can you tell me that Oswego's not going to beat them?
This is a great penalty kill.
Look,
and guys,
they're
with the
good.
addition of
I
Vance
just don't
and
see them
everyone
at
a
the
year
top of the
older,
conference right now.
this is a great
I just don't see them at the top of the conference right now.
The point's going to go to Aaron. I agree with them. They were great last year, and now they add Carson Vance. Moving on to the next question. After coming off an NCAA Sweet 16 appearance last season, the Lakers men's basketball team has received various preseason accolades, including 4th in the Street and Smiths poll and 23rd by D3 News. All this coming after losing big man Tyler Pierre and 3-point sharpshooter Quinn Carey. Is this Lakers team getting too much hype?
Yeah, they are. Let's be honest here. Look, this is a good team. Went to Sweet 16 last year. There's no denying. They're turning Liam Sanborn. But at the end of the day, Tyler Pierre was their most dominant player last year. He controlled the glass. He was huge inside for them. When they needed a bucket, he's the guy they went to. When they needed a 3, they went to Quinn Carey. End of the day, they lost too much to be ranked this high. End of the day, 4th is way too high for a team that didn't even make it to the Elite 8 last year. Lost a guy who has 9.1 rebounds per game, 13.4 assists. You're looking at 20+ points per game that they lost right there. That's a huge loss. I'm sorry, they're way overhyped at 4. Look, yeah, they probably should be ranked. I'd say 23 is probably where they should be. 4 is way too high. They lost way too much to be considered that elite right now.
4 may be a little high. I can agree with that. I think 23 is a little bit too low. I think they absolutely deserve this high. Listen, I agree. Tyler Pierre's a big loss, and when you lose a guy like that, that's tough. But Quinn Gary down the stretch didn't do much. Guys just guarded him out on the perimeter.
Yeah, but you got to play a whole season. You have to play a whole season.
They're bringing back guys like Sanborn, Garland, Sullivan, and they're bringing in a D1 transfer in Colby Mature from Buffalo.
How much have we seen from him? How much did he
year.
play for UB?
How
much have we seen?
One player in Tyler Pierre does not define this team.
You're right.
The biggest coming back of all is Coach Leone, who is the Bacani. That's the Coaches Association of New York. He was the D3. Yeah, he was the D3 coach of the year last year. He's coming back.
Look,
he's going to be able to take this Lakers team to where they were last year and even further.
They're unproven. I'm sorry, they're unproven.
I'm going to regret this, but the point goes to Aaron. 23rd seems too low. They were a Sweet 16 team last year. Moving on to the last question. Looking back at last season, the Lakers struggled to put the puck in the back of the net, resulting in no one ranked in the top 15 for goals within the new HL. This season, Oswego has 5 players already ranked in the top 15. Can at least one of those players still be there at the end of the season?
I don't think so, and here's why. This team does a great job sharing the wealth with, 8 different Lakers have scored this season. And when you share the wealth like that, you're not going to have one player really taking over. They've had a good season so far. They've shared the wealth for the most part. Aaron Stewart, who was their leading scorer last year, only has 1 goal so far this season and has 7 assists. The current leader right now for the new HL goal leaders has 5. Here's the players that have scored so far this season.
Yeah, look, you're only 2 goals off for your top player.
But the leading scorer
right now, this is a good team.
Had 6 goals last year. The current leader, 3 games in, has 5. Yeah. So how do you expect them to overcome 6? You think someone's going to get,
Yeah,
5?
Look, this is an improved offense. They're doing way better this year. They're spreading the wealth. They're scoring a lot. Look at this team. They're scoring all over the place. They're passing the puck. And Aaron Stewart, she was their top scorer last year. But she's taking more of a passing role. She's facilitating more for this offense, so that point's kind of irrelevant. But, you look at this team. They score a lot. They're definitely going to have a top 15 scorer. There's no doubt in my mind that this team can be, this team can have a top 15 scorer in the new HL. I have no doubt about it.
I don't agree. If they're spreading the wealth this much and it's not one player dominating, how exactly is someone going to break into the top 15? I think they've done a great job spreading the wealth. This is a good team, and this is an even better offense. But if they're spreading the wealth too much like this, they're not going to be able to have that one guy get a top scorer overall.
Look, I think they can absolutely have this. They're doing a great job. They're just creating more opportunities this year. The reason that they weren't at the top is because the team just wasn't scoring last year. This year, the team's offense is rolling, and they're not going to stop. They got good opportunities. They got good players this year.
Yeah, but if the wealth is spread out so much, how is somebody going to break into
Because
that
eventually
top
they'll
15?
have a star that breaks out. Right now, it's early in the season, and they're spreading the wealth, and they still have 5 players in the top 15 right now, even with all the spread.
Aaron, your argument was so weak there. You're going to lose a point, and Brian gets 2 points and wins again this week. Brian is our winner.
Absolutely, of course. Why wouldn't it work like that?
Yep.
This is, Aaron, why? What happened there, man? Are you ever going to win?
I didn't know about the 2 points. Lizzie, I would like to call out Lizzie. She's back here, freaking out. I got Phoebe and Tara, blaming Lizzie. I think it's all her fault.
This is great. This is great. I like the rule amendment.
Never in the history of Lakers Showdown has there ever been a 2-point question. So I think that's
the more points, the better. I think it's great. This is great.
I mean, everyone here is just a scrub.
That's all the time we have for today. Be sure to tune in tomorrow at 6:30 for Hockey Night in Oswego, prior to the Brockport Golden Eagles versus the Oswego State Lakers. For Brandon Ladd, Aaron Valentino, our entire crew here at WTOP 10, I'm Brian Rudman. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.